you wanna move Dan up to the 9:45 slot up to 9:30 here? Can we do that?
Yeah, you could go ahead and start discussing, and then we'll wait till 9:45 before you take action, just in case somebody comes in closer to 9:45
Okay.
with questions.
Okay.
Does that sound okay, everybody?
So, okay, fellas, you're up.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning,
Kurt.
you must be Dan Hart.
I am.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Kurt.
You
I'm Dan Hart. I'm the agronomy operations manager with New Century FS. Also with us today is Jason Blattner. He's our environmental and safety guy for New Century. We're based out of Grinnell currently. We have been pretty rooted in the community here in Tama County since the 20s. FS was originally started by the Farm Bureau back in the 20s to bring fuel oil on farm when the internal combustion engine was designed and invented. Brought fuel oil on farm. Farm Bureau decided that it was needed to bring in an inputs company to start delivering that to our farmers on farm. And it's just snowballed ever since then with all the ag inputs that farmers need today. They needed a good quality input company to provide those inputs for them. We've been in the community here in Tama, just right down, or Toledo, just right down the street here for a long time. And you know, when it started in the 20s, it started out, there's one in each individual county. And since then, it's been consolidated down. Before it became New Century, it was Iowa River FS, which was a combination of Marshall, Tama, and that was Iowa River. And then Iowa River and Powell Jasper merged to make New Century FS. And since then, we've added a few more counties to it as well. But it is essentially a merger of lots of different individual counties, FSs, together to make the input company that we are today. Deeply rooted in the Farm Bureau. But moving forward, we have a lot of our Tama County customers are demanding more out of us. Every year they demand more and more of a good quality service company. And with that, our board and our team at New Century has developed a plan to build a new state-of-the-art facility, be 1 mile east of Van Wall, out north of Toledo here, to increase our technology, our efficiency, our speed and scale, and develop a better plan to serve our farmer customers in Tama County. A lot of our locations today have been in Tama County a long time. They're badly in need of updating. Environmental and safety concerns also playing a big role in that. So with that installation, we're asking the Board of Supervisors to look at this installation. The Department of Agriculture in the state of Iowa requires us to come to the Board of Supervisors to get them to sign off on an ammonia installation. With that ammonia installation, we have to have certain setbacks from all of the different waterways, homes, places of public assembly, roads, property lines. We have met all those with the Department of Ag. This is another one of those hurdles that we have to go through with the Board of Supervisors to notify and to get them to sign off on. Also, we're gonna consolidate, let me back up here a little bit. So in December of 2019, New Century FS bought all the agronomy and energy assets of Mid-Iowa Co-op. Mid-Iowa Co-op used to be an agricultural input company and energy company. They used to deliver on LP and fuel on farm as well. We bought all those assets in December of 2019, which made Mid-Iowa Co-op totally grain co-op. All they do is handle corn and soybeans now. So when we bought those assets from them, they had fixed assets that were on their location. So out here at Midway, they have 2 anhydrous ammonia bottles there that we need to move off of their property. So we're gonna move them essentially from their location out north of town, 1 mile east. Also with that, we're gonna move, there's 2 bottles that are in Green Mountain, and there's a bottle that's in Garwin out there as well. So there'll be 5 total anhydrous ammonia bullets out there. And then on the LP side, there's 2 LP bullets that are in the city of Traer that are be moving out there There's one in the city of Darwin that's gonna be moving out there. There's one in the city of Beaman that's gonna be moving out there. So I don't know if you guys have kind of seen what we're doing here, but we're moving a lot of the hazmat, materials out of cities. That's our goal here. Get them out of city limits. There is a plan for Toledo in the 5-year plan to move it south out into the country. And we'll have to revisit that at that point too. But our goal here is to try to get all of the hazmat consolidated into the county, out of the city limits.
Thank you.
So to try to lessen the effect of any potential harm that could happen. With these new installations, like our anhydrous ammonia and our LP installations, there's lots of new technology that is used in the industry today for safety purposes. And with both of those installations, there'll be, they call them a base gas or base electric system, where all of the belly valves on the storage tanks today are controlled remotely by gas or electric valves. And so essentially like with the ammonia installation, the valves are held open by electricity. So if the electricity is ever cut to it, the valve's shut. So that's that system, like anybody that would be operating it has a button on their side. They can hit the button and the system closes remotely. Same with the LP, hit the button, system closes. So I had the opportunity a week ago to talk to the Toledo fire chief, and the assistant fire chief was informed as well. Kendall Jordan. We actually didn't go out and look at the site because it's still just a bean field today, or a soybean stubble field that we bought. But we were able to, put everything up on the board, show them all the setbacks, show them what we're doing for sure. And I got a letter that I included in my package with you guys. He signed off on it, so did the assistant chief. I guess that's it, probably. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Dan?
Will you have bulk dry fertilizer there too?
There will not be bulk dry fertilizer there.
Okay, so you're just talking ammonia, LP, fuel, diesel, gas?
At some point, there will be fuel there,
Okay.
liquid fuels.
Mhm.
That permit, we would have to revisit, because in this first budget, that did not make the first budget. So we would like to consolidate all the bulk fuels out there as well at some point, but the state fire marshal requires us to do that at the time we're actually gonna do it. So today, the state fire marshal requires us to come to the board of supervisors to ask for the LP to be approved, and we would have to come and revisit the bulk fuel when we decide to do that.
Okay, would that ground have to be changed zoning wise from A?
No.
They're not producing anything out there, they're just storing, so it's still ag equipment,
So will you be changing the ground to be like cement or gravel, or will it be staying as like soil and you're just storing it on top of soil? Or will the soil all be covered with gravel and?
We have to jump through the hoops that like the state fire marshal and the Department of Ag require of us to put these installations in. And with that installation, it would be a containment for the fuel, which we haven't done yet. At some point, we have to put a containment in. And I think it's like 110% of the largest tank, if there's ever to be a leak.
What does that include? Like in the ground, you put like a big hole in the ground of
No,
concrete, or is it above ground?
It's an above ground containment. It's got like a rubber bladder in it. Just sits on the ground.
So if you guys do move later, you could take all that with you, and all the farm ground would still be underneath untouched, basically. Possibly compacted, but not like you're driving a bunch of equipment over it type stuff.
Essentially, but I'm as deeply rooted as we are in the community today. I don't see us forever. I don't see us moving. I mean, we're 3 years away or 4 years away from being a 100-year business in the community. So,
Well, I mean, you could always move the location though if you find a better location. So.
I don't know. I don't see that happening, I guess.
So I had a second question. With all the ammonia, I know there's security issues. Will it be like highly fenced for security, or I was just looking for aesthetics when you're driving by, if it'll look like a top secret.
The Department of Ag does not require us to do any fencing around the ammonia facility, but the state fire marshal does require us to put fencing around the, I would call it the working end of the LP facility. But we are required to be able to shut everything down and lock it out so that people can't mess with it. Yeah.
How far would that fencing like be from the road, like when you're driving by and seeing it? mean, like setback pretty far, or,
I mean, it's in accordance with all the setbacks. that
which
the
I
state
haven't
partnership
read those, so I
requires.
don't know like what those setbacks would be.
I'm not sure.
Ballpark would be fine, I don't know the exact amount.
And would there be a central office building built out there?
Yeah, yeah, and there'll be a centrally located warehouse and office right in the middle of this facility, yeah. And to your question about other things that will be out there, so, you know, with COVID and the requirements that's been put on the suppliers to house the stuff that's needed to put a crop in today, and to get it in timely, and to have it for the farmers when they need it, it's required us to start thinking differently about how much warehousing capability we have. So attached to the office, we're building a new warehouse. And then we're also building a state-of-the-art chemical loadout facility there as well.
What's your projected square footage for all your buildings combined between the office and the other facilities you're talking about?
I'd have to run a calculator on it, but I can do that for you.
Ballparks.
I think the building is,
How big is the building? I would assume it'd be a pretty good sized building.
yeah. I have to grab glasses. Jason, can you read that?
Well, you read it, you're a lot better. Your eyes are up there than mine. Holy smokes, it's
All I
small.
can see is the, like, the setbacks, I don't see the building. So. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that question.
Sorry.
How much land do you have out there?
We purchased 18 acres.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Is it gonna be kind of right across from Denny Dosto's place then?
No.
Or not quite that far?
So,
It's on the southeast corner of K Avenue and E29.
Karen, there's a sign out there if you drive by on E29, there's already
Yeah.
a sign out for future location.
Well, I know where you just said it. I know that location. What will still be in the Toledo town right here, west, right down the street, what will still be here in the town?
Everything that's there.
Everything is still will be there. Even the cakes?
For now, yeah.
I mean, by me looking at this, Dan, the closest thing to the road is over 100 feet away. And most of it's almost 200 feet away.
Everything's pretty centrally located within the 18 acres. And, I mean, it really, it's really gonna be a nice looking facility because we bought an extra amount of ground. We really probably didn't need to purchase that much, but we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of room out there.
Room to grow. I know you're still,
Oh, excuse me, are you finished?
go ahead, I can ask later.
Go ahead.
I know you're still looking at my previous question, but, what's your timeline on planning to build?
We'd like to start turning dirt on the, facility probably the next week or two.
Davies, they meet all the setbacks and everything, what are the
Yes.
zoning rules? Yes.
We can have two accesses to the facility, one from the highway and one from the gravel, or
That's
just
what
one?
we were hoping to discuss with the engineer. They would like 2 drives to the gravel road there.
Okay.
And,
And one to the
I
pavement.
know Dan had discussed that they had contacted, FS had contacted about, putting gravel drives in. Is that something we need to zone and permit, or is that something you just need to bless off as far as culvert size and whatnot?
Yeah, that would just be on that side of things. We usually driveway permit would be what they would need it.
I believe Andrew La Palma from DAA, our civil engineers from Minneapolis, said they had contacted somebody in your office, or maybe it was you even, about it.
Okay, yeah, I haven't, I guess, been aware of this facility, so.
Ben needs everything to end.
Obviously,
Shoot it to him again.
Guess I have one more question. Do your current plans leave you enough room within our zoning restrictions to build without needing exemptions in the future? Cause we've had a previous project where they didn't plan for needing further setbacks, and so they needed exemptions to get past our setbacks. I didn't know if your plans were leaving space for you to grow without needing exemptions in the future.
At this time, I believe we met all the setbacks, so.
Well, like, I didn't know if you're like right against the setback, and then if you wanna grow, you need to go past your setback, or into the setback. Or do you have enough space to grow
I
without
think we
needing
have enough space
exemptions
to
in the
grow.
future?
Yeah.
Okay.
18 acres, big piece of ground.
Depends on how you set it on those 18 acres, if you're like, oh, I wanna go this way.
Buildings, a lot of buildings, so. Everything looks okay, Tavius? Yeah.
The only thing that we'll have to just hash out is the gravel drive.
Or
so-
where the driveways are.
So all the traffic going to that would be turning onto the gravel before it turns in there. That's the way I would assume.
That's what I'm
You'd be
understanding.
turning onto the gravel road that's on the west side of the 18 acres. That's the way I read it.
At this time, we're asking,
Somebody else's field.
there's gonna be one entrance off E29 in the very northeast corner, and then two off in the gravel. Where our vision was to have, like you said, trucks coming to get loaded would come in on the gravel and exit on E29 in the northeast corner.
Good flow.
Are you gonna have either a helicopter or plane pad runway out there?
No,
They would need to go through adjustment if everything was under, that's only if they need exemptions. Sorry I asked such hard questions about the building.
okay, so the office warehouse is 80 feet
Okay.
by 24. That's the office, 80 by 24. And then the warehouse attached to it is 80.
No, that's all right, I realized that.
132.
80 by 132? And how tall are those buildings?
They'll be 20 feet.
You want a copy of this?
Thank you.
Yes, they haven't said